Well, up first, let's bring you the latest India numbers. And India reported a record daily jump of 97,894 coronavirus infections in 24 hours, which has taken the tally past the 51 lakh mark. The number of cases in the country now stands at 51 lakh 18,253. Active cases in the country have crossed the 10 lakh mark in 24-hour period. India, which is the second worst hit country, reported 1,132 deaths linked to the virus, taking the total number of fatalities to 83,198. Well, now the big focus on our show today, the latest vaccine news, and the Russia Direct Investment Fund, which is piloting Russia's Sputnik V candidate vaccine currently in phase 3 trials, has now partnered with the Hyderabad-based Dr. Reddy's laboratories to test and then, subject to regulatory approvals in India, supply 100 million doses of the vaccine. The Dr. Reddy's RDIF agreement constitutes the second major international deal for supplying a potential vaccine after the agreement between British company AstraZeneca and the Pune-based Serum Institute of India. Well, to talk more about this deal, we're now joined by Kirill Dmitriev, Chief Executive Officer, the Russian Direct Investment Fund. And thank you so much for joining us again on the show. Do tell us about this tie-up with Dr. Reddy's laboratories, and when will this phase 3 trial begin?
Well, I think it's a very important agreement for us. As you know, India and Russia have always been strategic partners, and this agreement signifies that we can also be strategic partners on vaccine, not only helping India to solve the coronavirus issue, but also having India produce vaccines for the rest of the world, really being a hub of vaccine production for the rest of the world. So we will supply 100 million doses of the vaccine to India. We can start supplying as early as November, and we expect the clinical trials to start this month in India, subject to regulatory approval. And we are in touch with the regulators in India to start clinical trials as soon as possible, and to have vaccine in India registered after the results of the clinical trials, not only in India, but also in Russia and other countries.
So at this point, you can't give us a date of when these phase 3 trials will begin. And I was also reading that currently this agreement does not include manufacturing the vaccine, and you're still looking for manufacturers. If you could explain that.
Well, we already secured manufacturing capacity with 5 Indian companies. So they will be producing the vaccine for us in India, and we have secured those relationships. We have more than 300 million doses already secured in production in India. And then this agreement is mostly on selling vaccine to India, to other markets, using Dr. Reddy's distribution capacity. And as you can see, the market really welcomes this agreement. The stock is already up more than 7.5% from the time of the announcement. So the agreement created more than $800 million of market capitalization for Dr. Reddy, as people in India and abroad understand the importance of cooperation with Russia on its vaccine.
Right, and if you could tell us about the status of the vaccine right now. We believe people are being inoculated with it in Russia. How is that going? If you could tell us about that.
Yeah, so already we have ongoing post-registration trials in Russia of more than 40,000 people. Actually, 55,000 people tried to sign up for these trials. So the trials are completely oversubscribed. Already close to 1,000 people have been vaccinated as part of those post-registration trials. And we expect in early October to vaccinate all of the 40,000 people. We will also start clinical trials in UAE and Saudi Arabia this month. And also in parallel, people in Russia are being vaccinated. Lots of ordinary health workers and other people at risk. And as you know, our Minister of Defense, our Minister of Industry, our Mayor of Moscow, lots of other key people have decided to be vaccinated because they know the vaccine is safe and is based on a very safe human adenovirus vector platform.
That's right. In fact, after we spoke the last time, then on September 4th, there was a research paper that was published in The Lancet that spoke about the vaccine and how it's been, found to, it's demonstrated that no serious adverse effects have been found. And there was, at the time of the announcement of a Sputnik V vaccine, there was a lot of reaction across the world regarding it. Given that, this peer-reviewed paper, this came out in The Lancet, that was quite a thumbs up for you, and it showed that Russia has managed to produce the safe vaccine.
Yes, exactly. The data was very clear. No significant side effects, 100% efficiency, 1.5 times was the level of antibodies because of the vaccine versus a person who would be very sick with COVID. So really great results. And once again, as a key part of Russian vaccine is that it is based on a safe human adenovirus technology. You can almost call it an organic vaccine because it has been based on the virus that has been living with us for hundreds of years, have been tested for decades. And this is very different from some of the new approaches that some of the Western companies are doing, called monkey adenovirus or mRNA. So there is greater understanding that Russia has chosen the safest delivery mechanism possible. And there is great momentum. You know, we signed agreement with Mexico, with Brazil, with India. We'll be announcing many more agreements next week. So really, we want to work as partners with India, as partners with Indian pharma companies to help people all over the world be protected from coronavirus.
And when can we expect the second results of the next phase of the vaccine trials to be published? When can we expect more information on that?
So we expect the next phase of initial results of post-registration clinical trials will be published at the end of October. And we are on track, subject to great work we are doing with Indian regulators, with Indian government, with Indian ministries, to start delivering and producing vaccine in India already in November. So we believe we will be the first vaccine subject to regulatory approval that will be available in India and based on manufacturing capacity of India, also from India to other countries.
All right. And finally, once again, the question about when, will the phase 3 trials begin in India? That's what, you've partnered with Dr. Reddy's labs for.
Yeah, so we are waiting for an approval from regulator. All of the documents have been submitted. We're in really close communication, so we hope it could start in the next 2 weeks.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kirill Dmitriev, for speaking to us here at NDTV and hoping to hear great news about the trials here in India.
Thank you.